because you're taking over. Want to allege that nobody knows anything about these systems but you, but no.
You're either confused or you're malicious.
No, I understand your point of view, Flo, but would they just go to a different country who isn't following socialism? They can move to a different country,
they
right?
do try to do that. There's a lot of people
or become a sovereign citizen,
right?
They
Here's
become
the cool
a sovereign
thing.
citizen
There
of
are
the area.
lots of people in the world who've lived under socialism. You can talk to them.
So what? I am.
So have
not
you ever heard of anybody getting on a rap?
socialism? Would you shut the fuck up, Flo? I am not promoting socialism or communism. Those are words
Don't say that.
have brought up.
Don't say that, because there are people who move to these countries to take advantage of the non-tax system.
It's a tax system.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like there are people who go to these other countries because they know that they can take advantage of the systems.
Oh, so if you're a billionaire, then socialism is good. If you're one of
I don't know, but I know that you've asked if people go over there, but they do.
This is exactly my point. Socialism works great for a handful of few. You want to exacerbate the wealth gap in a hurry? Socialism.
That's a good point, but these guys don't participate. They just take advantage. They don't even participate. So, like, I don't know, like.
Okay, well, I don't know what you mean by that.
That's what I mean. This whole argument is kind of like, I'm wondering where this argument's coming from you, because like every question that you've asked, I can return. Like, for example, socialism. How would you get someone to do that? Well, how would you ask somebody to get into capitalism? You're like, well, under socialism, communism, you're not allowed to exchange for yourself.
But again, you didn't allow Simple Jack to finish.
No, I did finish, Jesse.
I don't care, Jesse. You don't need to police the conversation, Jesse.
Whoa, come on.
You didn't allow me to finish, Jesse.
Hey.
What?
Hello? Please. Yeah, I know you're standing strong, and you're receiving some.
I think it's the orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, it is the orange jumpsuit.
It is part of your personality.
It's the orange jumpsuit, bro.
It's
high vibing, bro.
Let me jump in here, Jack.
By the amount of stupidity it takes for people to think that they would be better off not having property rights. Think about that for a second.
That's right. That's right. Property rights. Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, it's just the most mind-boggling amount of stupidity.
I know you can't,
but it's not. It's widespread. I'm not just talking about you. It's hugely widespread. It's amazing.
Flo, you might want to try and
look at China. They're about ready to take over the world.
Yeah, they're also putting nets under their place of employment so people don't commit suicide on the job.
What do you mean take over the world? How are they going to take over the world, Jesse?
Hey, Jesse, I got an idea about that, bro. We got to talk about this one day, about China and the United States, and I think they're playing a card game, a shadow game with China.
Yeah, China's economy is a lot flimsier too than it appears. I believe. I don't know for sure, but I would think so.
That sucks, Jesse.
We're letting China think they're number one. We let them think they're number one.
Jack, do you think
those two are not mutually
job right now?
exclusive?
Under capitalism, do you think the government's doing its job right now to make sure that they're regulating all these businesses to have a level playing field the way they're supposed to? What in the fuck makes you think under socialism that they're going to be able to do that? When there's no private businesses, all the government owns everything, and they control all the money.
Not what I'm suggesting.
Well, this is the problem: is you're suggesting what we're interpreting as capitalism and socialism. You're using some other avenues, like you're picking and pulling of this and that.
Because he doesn't explain any more details.
I've explained it, but you're unwilling to consider.
You use concepts, not specifics.
You find problems in every explanation I've offered.
Okay, try me again. Let's try it again. Try to explain your system in as much actual detail as possible.
I'm gonna try to back him up. I'm gonna try to back him up.
BRB bitches.
Let's do this.
Well, there's a lot of different ways it can be conceptualized, and you're right, Flo. I guess I do speak in concept because what I'm suggesting has not actually been, to my knowledge, it's not been implemented in large-scale areas. The small areas where communities and communal social programs, social living has worked, it's quickly been oppressed by those who want to maintain the status quo and the capitalist ideas. I mean, we've gotten to the point where Americans think capitalism is democracy. Democracy is capitalism. The two are not even the same when in
Agreed.
fact they've destroyed one another, perhaps.
Democracy has always been a disaster.
Well,
Yep.
partially because of lack of education. But see, we're at this point in time of human history where we now have the technology to share knowledge. We could be learning from each other, helping each other, growing each other, growing our businesses, improving the services, so sharing best practices with common competitors, not for the purpose of extorting more profits from the customers, which is the mindset of capitalism, right? It's all about the profits. How much profit are we going to get out of those customers? How much labor and productivity are we going to get out
It's
of
the same thing that socialism sells. It's exactly the same thing. Just socialism sells to the envious losers.
All right. So, Flo, there's your argument and disagreement. Good thing I'm not promoting socialism.
What would you call it then? Because you described socialism just now.
What I'm suggesting is many different alternatives. There's the gifting economy. There's the my favorite is the idea and the concepts behind the resource-based economy.
Hold on, what is that?
It's the idea that's from Jacques Fresco and the Venus Project. It's the idea of using mechanization, technology to help, like Jesse brought up. We're at a point now where mechanization and technology are going to make a lot of the actual human jobs, human labors, they'll be irrelevant. So more people are likely going to be out of jobs, which is a good thing. Why the fuck aren't we focused on reducing?
So you're helping improve mechanization then to that end.
It is a tool and a resource. Just
no,
like
you're waiting for other people to hand it to you.
Clarify. Hold on. Keep clarifying your idea. What you mean by people not having those kind of jobs? So what would they be doing then instead?
Well, thank you. I see ways humanity. We could redo things so easily as old jobs come away. If we were smart, we would work together to educate our children in every community, not just in this nation, but all around the world. Why? Because the more educated our children are, the better future our species might have.
You just invented schools.
No, I'm suggesting community learning centers where we recruit the best of the best. Take some of these experienced people who have lived lives gaining wisdom, and let's bring them in to teach some of these trades, pass on some of the skills, pass on some of the knowledge and the actual education, the information.
I heard Japan does that.
What's that?
I heard Japan does that. I believe they do that. They do an aptitude test and see where your best skills fit into the economy, and it seems to be working for them. They actually do that. They see where you fit
stupid? Is your life better off if your best skill is mopping floors, and that's what they train you for? Then
they
do have a high suicide rate, but it seems to be working for their economy. I'm just saying it seems to be working for the economy.
Right. That has been their focus. But a focus on the economy actually brings, I think, the quality of life down.
Right. We agree there, Jack.
Okay. Thank you. I believe that what we could do is, rather than people becoming dedicated to a lifelong career.
Yeah, that was your mistake. That's not how. Yeah, go.
If the jobs were created for true benefit, reduce the number of jobs. We don't need jobs that exist simply because of someone's regulation or, all these extra billing departments, extra regulatory departments, all of these jobs, they're unfulfilling for many.
The bureaucracy.
The bureaucracy, right.
We agree there too. Less bureaucracy would be fantastic.
I know we don't disagree that much. Thank you, Flo. The idea, though, if we could find a way, if jobs existed for the purposes of creating experience for people. People can gain experience, education, maybe even exercise. You know, how many professionals might enjoy taking a break from a stressful job in order to go just do something, serving, whatever, serving at a coffee shop, whatever, something.
Nobody does that for fun.
Some people like caring for others. There's different types for all things. And I think what we've got right now, where everyone is, what happens most times today is people take the first job they can find. It doesn't matter if it's any good. It's just something to pay
I disagree with that, but go on.
What about this? When you know how some countries have mandatory armed service for a certain age, what about mandatory service to others? Mandatory if you're 16 to 18, you need to go in these service jobs, so that way these type of jobs are fulfilled.
Why do we need more authority telling us what to do with our lives? That's a terrible idea, Jesse. That's absolutely the worst idea I've heard yet. Stunningly bad.
Joe, you're after everybody, Flow State.
I mean, I'm just not having this bullshit tonight.
You don't like the big hug? We're all hugging you, right? You're in the middle. Just enjoy the love.
Hey, I invented the group hug.
No, you're pushing us all away.
Well, if we didn't have governments and corporations lying, if the lowest level worker could walk into a business and say, and actually know all the ins and outs, what's the direction of the organization? What is their true profit margin? Why don't the employees get to know more about the organization they work for? I think that's a bunch of crap. Huh?
I don't know, Jack. I think the janitor knows a lot. He's in the office at night, checking everybody's desk out, looking over the files. I bet that guy's running his own little side hustle underneath.
Let's talk about gratitude for a second and take a moment and recognize all the things the system and capitalism has given us.
Oh, lots.
Yeah. And I mean, I mostly Nude Guru made me think of this because of all the just absurd recommendations Nude Guru keeps coming up with. Like, you don't have to participate in society. I don't know. I guess I could go eat walnuts. That's true. I could go eat walnuts in the woods. I don't want to. I'd rather live in the system and be a slave.
I want to change the system so people are not slaves. So that we do have,
it was tongue in cheek.
I know it was. Hey, sir, I agree completely. And this is just where I'm at. I'm not advocating stealing people's property. I'm not advocating mandating anything.
That's where you come to the stumbling block, because it's literally the only way you can move that system forward.
So you've never had successful communication? You've never successfully changed someone's...
I don't want to have a successful communication every time I need a candy bar or a tank of gas.
I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is what I've been talking about. I know that people can change, that when the truth is known, when it's actually there and there's no denying what is real, what is true, people can change. And I trust that...
No. Abstract concept Obama talk. This is not about anything. When people believe they can change, well, sure.
Okay. So...
yeah, people can change when they believe. I agree with that. But it doesn't have any meaning or substance to it. How would you propose people do change? When I ask you these questions, you have no answer.
That's not true, Flo. And for you to say that, that's just illogical.
You have no specific answer.
It's dishonest, actually.
What's the question again? I'm sorry.
I think it's just a dream you have, Jack. Like you're dreaming of a better living, a better society, a better just everything. But the words that you're using it's not defining that. anywhere near it.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, okay. That could be true, but Steve, what I've been learning as a life coach, studying psychology, philosophy, and spirituality, what I've been learning is that our lives, it starts with an idea, starts with a dream. And then with that dream, then we find actions to take. And then when we take those actions, we increase the likelihood and the probabilities that our dreams can be realized. Now,
having a life coach address the economy is like having a kid who wants to fly address mechanics.
No, it's not.
But I want the car to fly.
No, it's not. And you're being unhelpful. Okay. Flo, thank you.
Well, Jack, you've had a 4-hour show. I think I put my time and energy into what I can for you. Hugs to everybody.
High five, Simple Jack.
Bam.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, yeah, this was great. The discussion went all over the place, but it was good. It was awesome. And much love. You guys have a good night. Peace.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simple Jack.
I had to fight down all these commie motherfuckers.
Hugs, Flow State. Take the orange jersey off. It's
I'm going to,
bro.
It's distracting even me.
Yeah, you're like 102 over there.
Holy cows.
Jack, you've been handling this conversation really well, right? It's been, kind of up and down, and you've actually been able to converse. So much props to not, getting a little too elevated.
I agree, actually, 100%.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Flo, actually, you're one of those I do have to really offer some gratitude to. You've been patient with me and at the same time provoking. So it's helped me to grow. Thank you for recognizing that, Jesse. And Simple Jack, thank you for joining. I think it's a group effort that's helped me be
Cupcake.
Hey, love it. I do love cupcakes.
Yeah. And in socialism, they're all free because somebody else made them.
Hey, and they made them with love.
No, they didn't. No, they
Sharing.
didn't. They did not.
Sharing and service. Yes, that stuff actually happens. I know that.
No, it doesn't.
Cupcake good.
My daughter
no love.
loves baking, and her favorite part is everybody trying it and telling her what they think.
But it would not be if it was mandatory.
No,
Hey,
she
babe.
also had that
Make
love
me
of
some
hers
fucking
killed by
cupcakes,
being
bitch.
in a job that was very stressful, and then she didn't want to bake again for a long time, even though it was her absolute love. So yeah, it can be ruined either way.
So capitalism for the win. Yeah.
It's won again today. I'll give you that. It has not been defeated yet, but it also hasn't lost.
I do want to just real quick point out that capitalism and the monetary system are very separate things.
They
Totally.
exist together. They're codependent of one another.
No, capitalism is an economic system in which voluntary transactions occur.
Okay. And if you didn't have money, you would call it, if it didn't have money, would you still call it capitalism, or would you call it barter or trade or?
I mean, those are forms of capitalism. You have property ownership and you exchange voluntarily. Those are the two cornerstones of capitalism: property ownership, voluntary exchange. It's the opposite for socialism or communism, which is no property ownership, involuntary transactions. When you understand the basics of these systems, you realize that one is freedom and one is slavery. They're just applied to economics or to tangible goods.
Right.
Capitalism has been ruined because of their corrupted monetary system.
I agree. And
the government controls that, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
The government gave it to private authority.
Right. The government had the government's the ones that gave it over, and they're the ones that keep us in it.
Yep.
Forever.
And therefore, that's what I mean. The Congress and the government put us in this bullshit system where we're just racking up debts. We're going to pass that shit on to our children, pretend like this is normal.
The solution is less government, less mandated exchanges.
Yes, so let's find a way to have some conversations with people in government. I'd love to do that.
It's beating a dead horse, though.
I think that you intentionally just missed my point. It just went whizzing by you.
Well,
I'm
you
like,
said-
government and mandates are bad, and you're like, yes, I want to talk to them about my mandates.
No. Okay, so you made the conclusion government mandates are bad. So what do you suggest as citizens we do? Just pretend they don't exist? You just ignore them?
To the extent that you can, I would suggest that. Yeah, like for instance, when I had chickens, you're supposed to like register them and pay a fee. Fuck that shit. I didn't do that, not for a second. I will never register a freedom garden or some shit like that. Yeah, so avoid the things that you can avoid. Absolutely, that is one step.
Okay, I agree with that. I do. The yes and though. I think we can also confront. I think we can confront. Actually, yeah, government is what you need to. Government protects the capital-based property ownership fallacy. That's the truth. Man's laws support the banker's laws. Bankers. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there is that sort of weird codependency where at some point, to secure rights, you need authority. However, the authority rapidly becomes the one that takes away rights. So that is a paradigm that I don't have a way out of. That said, I think it's fairly clear if we look at history or even current society that less government, less authority, more freedom economically would be a good thing.
<clears throat> We're going to disagree on that.
I know you're a tyrant, and I'm for the people.
No, because here's my summation of capitalism, free market. Everything's for sale. That includes your politicians. That includes your freedoms. That includes your education.
Only if you give them to the. Only if they have them in the first place. It
has been sold to the highest bidder. We don't have the rights. We don't have the freedoms. The wealthy do. But hey, you can keep promoting. Hey. You
understand in socialism, they don't even pretend like you have the rights to them.
Again, you know what? These red herring arguments have nothing to do with what I'm saying. I'm not suggesting the old systems that have not worked.
Okay? I don't understand how your system is different from those.
The fact that we address this intellectual property nonsense, the secrets, the
intellectual property like that up there.
Yep, exactly.
You don't believe in intellectual property? You think that's bullshit?
Under today's rules, it is valid. And here's the irony. Isn't this funny? Yes, I'm playing the system of today with the purposes of making it better.
So in the system of tomorrow, where there is no intellectual property, and Live Without Fear, Jack Talcott starts having some success, and then 18,000 other Jack Talcotts pop up to leech off it. That's better.
Well, those 18,001 Jack Talcotts promoting the Live Without Fear, we're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it because we're doing it because we want a world where people love living.
Jack, these people are stealing your brand. They're not doing it for the benefit of humanity.
They can, you know what?
You're going to have to kick me out because you're living in a fucking delusion if you think that those people steal from you for everyone's good. Like, that's fucking nuts.
Oh, my God.
You can't have more government and more government and more government.
I'm not saying that.
Well, you think the people are going to do that? I mean, that's what you're really saying. If it's not government, then who? Us? We can't even agree on a panel on a little simple discussion. You know what I mean?
This is what's been so disheartening for me too, is that we can't even agree on a panel.
Well, I got some
more gratitude.
Friends and family to have a conversation, let alone an agreement with me. I'm able to have conversations here, but you're right. Praise God, man.
Aren't you grateful for the conversations? You're focusing on the negative.
I am grateful for the conversations, but at what point? I mean, Flo, honestly, as a man, I've been challenged the last weeks, months. How long do I want to continue doing this? Because
your entire life, you will be challenged your entire life. You better get used to it.
I'm talking about this actual action of right here and now.
Oh, I don't know. As long as you want, you throw in the towel whenever you choose.
Yep. And I'm ready.
Life will continue to challenge you.
Yep. I'm ready to shut it down, Flo, because you're showing me exactly the frustration I've been feeling. People in this society don't give a fuck about other people, and it saddens me. Let's wrap it up.
Well, it saddens me.
It has nothing to do with
about me
capitalism
either. You know,
it has nothing to do with capitalism, though, Jack.
It has to do with me. Doesn't give a fuck about me.
Well, you got to pick different adjectives to describe what it is you're trying to get us to understand. So, homework assignment. Look into that. Write down a piece of paper or pen. You know what I'm saying? Write down what you're saying.
I know what I'm saying.
I know you know what you're saying, but I'm trying to tell you we're not getting it.
I know. It's on. Here's the thing. Please consider the truth. I've been fighting here, and Flo, I don't mean to be disrespectful to you, but God dang it, I have been repeating myself and trying to repeatedly explain the same thing different ways so that the understandings can be shared. But here's what I'm learning.
Why don't you think I understand you?
It's obvious.
No, I understand you.
You claim to.
I do claim to. I'm pretty sure I understand. I don't think you understand you.
That is where your problem and I are.
You want to know why I think that? Because I know just what questions to ask you that you can't answer.
So you think you've outsmarted me.
So I think I understand your position on this topic better than you do.
Okay. Well, what would convince you that you're wrong? Because
when you can answer the questions I ask you and then ask me ones I can't answer.
All right. Go away. Good night, Flo.